I bet you can relate to this. Early in my career, I presented a campaign result that I was genuinely proud of. Big number, green chart, loads of sales. I was happy, the team was happy. For all I knew, those sales were coming anyway. And it just so happened that my campaign was in the right place at the right time. If you've ever presented results and weren't sure if what you really did was the thing that made the difference, and you've got that small voice in the back of your head, this video is for you. Because that feeling isn't imposter syndrome, it's good instinct. I spent my marketing career working on campaigns that have contributed millions of dollars to businesses ranging from kitchen products through to life sciences. And that gap I just described, knowing the difference between what a dashboard is showing you and the true reality, is the single biggest mistake I see marketers make every single day. Now let me show you the proof behind this. eBay wanted to know if their paid search ads were actually driving sales. The dashboard said yes. Customers were clicking on the ads, the sales were coming in, and return on ad spend looked great. So they ran a controlled experiment. They paused paid search on a segment of users to see what would happen. For existing customers searching for eBay, those ones that the dashboard was absolutely certain were a major contributor to the success from their branded search campaigns, while running the experiment, the difference in sales from that segment, 0. Those customers searched for eBay, didn't see an ad, but bought anyway. They were going to buy regardless. It just so happened that a branded search ad was there at the time and the most convenient thing to click on. Now, the dashboard wasn't lying exactly. It was just answering a different question than most marketers think when they're looking at data. It's showing what happened after the campaign ran, not what happened because it ran. And that gap between what happened after a campaign ran and what happened because it ran are two very different questions to answer, and is the reason that marketing teams are wasting millions a year in marketing spend. But don't worry, I can help you before your CFO realizes, and at the same time, we can elevate your career tenfold. You need to be aware of something called the attribution gap, and once you know what it is, you're going to start seeing it everywhere and look at data completely differently. Here's the simplest way to get around this in your head. You've got observed performance and incremental impact. Observed performance is what happened after the campaign ran. You spent $10,000 on Google Ads and your return on ad spend was $50,000 and X number of clicks. That is what the dashboard is showing you. Your incremental impact is what happened because the campaign was running. How many of those customers would have bought anyway? That is most definitely what the dashboard doesn't and cannot show you. So the dashboard is answering what happened after we launched this campaign, but the question you need to be asking is actually, what would have happened if we didn't launch this campaign? The difference between the worlds where this campaign existed and it didn't is something almost certainly that marketers never measure, but it's the one that's going to actually tell you if you created value. Imagine somebody builds a dashboard that tracks umbrella usage and wet streets. And the data is clear. On days where people carry umbrellas, more streets are wet. So the dashboard concludes that the umbrellas are causing the wet streets. Obviously that's ridiculous. It's the rain that caused both. But you can see marketing has the same problem. People that are already interested in your brand are more likely to search for you, click on your ads, and convert. So when your campaign reaches those people, your dashboard is going to show that you've driven conversions. So if you're all about just standing there and looking good in front of your bosses, make sure you're running branded search campaigns and mop up all of that intent that's going to convert anyway. That's going to help you look good in front of your managers, but it's going to make you a pretty bad marketer in the long run. Instead, I want you to start thinking, has your campaign persuaded them? Or did it just find people that were already going to buy? Now, I want to be clear at this point in the video, I'm not bashing on branded search. I think it has its place, but in the context of what we're talking about in this video, a branded search campaign isn't necessarily that thing that is truly driving those conversions, even if your dashboard is telling you that it is. So you want to think, did your campaign actually persuade somebody to purchase? Or did you just mop up some intent that was there anyway? There's 3 reasons that dashboards consistently get this wrong. First, platforms give credit to touch points, not causes. If someone clicks an ad and then buys, the platform is going to allocate the credit to that. And that doesn't mean the ad created the purchase. Every platform records numbers slightly differently. Google sees what happens in Google better, and Meta sees what happens in Meta better. And you're probably trying to compare those numbers to establish where you can invest more, but the reality is you're not comparing apples with apples. And 3, attribution models are a major influence. Different attribution models are going to assign credit to different touch points differently. You've got last touch attribution, which is going to assign the most credit to the last touch point in that campaign. And then you have things like first touch, which is going to assign it to the first touch in that campaign. I've got a whole nother video that explains attribution and the impact it's having on your dashboards. So if you want to go and check that out, make sure you click the video that's appearing on screen right now. But the reality is that dashboard looks great, but the end result is you have a business that doesn't truly understand what is driving success. So what does good measurement actually look like? Well, let's dive into another story. A junior marketer reports performance. A stronger marketer interrogates it, asking what the numbers mean and what it doesn't show. And here's the tool that makes interrogation possible. You need to start experimenting. Start splitting your audience. Test different messages in emails. With your ads, pause them in certain regions or certain segments and see what impact that has on your business. As you start testing, turning things off and ramping other things up, you get a real picture of what is actually contributing to the business. You also need to be aware of external factors that might be influencing the results of your campaigns. Maybe you're in the B2B space like life science, and there has been a new government grant issued by the US government. As a result, that means there's a lot more funding in the industry, so no wonder you're going to see more sales as a result. On top of that, a great thing to do is start scraping your competitors' stock information on their websites. Perhaps one of your competitors is out of stock, and at that same time, you've been able to mop up additional orders because of that issue your competitor is experiencing. Now, while that may not make your campaign look amazing, you're shedding even more light on what is happening in your industry and what is causing people to come to your company and place orders. Now, if there's one sentence you remember from this video, I need it to be this. Attribution assigns credit, and incrementality measures impact. If you've been running campaigns and just looking in isolation at attribution dashboards to tell you whether those campaigns were a success or not, you're not doing the wrong thing. Every marketer is doing it. After all, the platforms are built in a way that shows you that data first. But here's what happens when attribution is all you have. Campaign launches, dashboard shows attributed conversions, report says, yay, it worked. Team increases the budget, platform goes and finds more people that were likely to convert anyway, numbers keep looking good, team adds more budget yet again, but total business revenue is flat. New customers are flat. Profit is under pressure, and nobody can explain why this campaign that looks brilliant in all of the reports doesn't seem to be having that positive impact on the bottom line. That's because you've got a measurement problem. So how do you start thinking differently about this? Well, you change the question. Stop asking how many conversions did my campaign get? How many visitors did I drive? Start asking how many conversions did the campaign create? And what would have happened if I didn't run this campaign? The dashboard isn't the enemy, but blind trust in the dashboard is the enemy. So on Monday, once you've downed that morning coffee to make you feel motivated to be at work again, I need you to do this. Take one campaign that your dashboard is showing you is performing really well. Then ask these 2 questions. What evidence do we have to show that this created new demand? And what experiment could we design to find out? Don't just ask if the campaign has results. Ask if the campaign changed results. And just as a little nugget, as an aside here for you, I often find that one of the best questions you can ask people when you're in meetings and you're discussing different ideas is, what would happen if we didn't do this? So your dashboard might be lying to you, but not because the data that's in it is wrong, but because it's answering a different question to the one you really want to know. If you're watching this thinking, why on earth didn't somebody tell me this sooner? then you've got the right feeling. And we can take your learnings even further now by clicking on this next video to learn all about attribution models and how they're impacting your reporting.